Welcome, welcome everyone. This is Tracy Randall. I am the founder of Generational Health, and I'm so excited to have tonight's Facebook Live as my guest, Mr. Robert Wright, Bob, who is the founder of the American Anti-Cancer Institute. All of you who are watching the video live right now, I know that you're supporters of the AACI and the Facebook group, so welcome, welcome, and welcome, Bob, to tonight's live.
Well, thank you, Tracy. Once again, it's this is what I do. It's a delight to be here and share what little knowledge I do have, and hopefully we'll all have more at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, you're being extremely modest, as we all know, when you say what little knowledge you have, because you are one of the most equipped people that I know who has done the research to help empower families to be healthy. And we all know that the time has come that we really do have to take our health into our own hands, and you've done such an incredible job of helping families be able to do that. So we appreciate you so much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I sincerely don't think I could do anything else at this point. Of course, I'm pretty old now, as you can all see, but I can still get out and run 5 miles if I needed to, and that's all to say that I want to keep going, as long as I can. And I'm always amazed at what I can learn, and I'm trying to learn new things every day because I have kind of a need to pass along the truth, especially regarding health and healing and prevention, as we all know, because prevention's the real cure. And so I'll keep going till God says that's enough, I guess.
Well, we appreciate you, and we're gonna hold you to that and keep you right here going. We really are excited about the new Facebook Live series. And if you missed last week's broadcast and you're watching tonight, hopefully you have heard by now that Bob has done something pretty incredible, and that is to write the 4th edition of his best-selling book, Killing Cancer, Not People. Bob, I believe you have a little prototype you might want to hold up so they can see the new cover. I know you're very proud of it.
Well, and I don't think that they're going to be able to accurately through this media see the colors as they're really going to appear. I will hold this up, and you can see that there's a different background here. Of course, this is a different blue down here. It does say 4th edition on it. I don't know what you see right there, but there it is, 4th edition here, and it's got somebody's picture on the back. Oh, I guess that is me, isn't it? Well, that's a new picture. The other one made me look like I was pretty stern. So, well, I like the look of it, and I like the design, and it's you can see that there's a difference between that and the 3rd edition, so it will be instantly recognizable. And there's a lot of updates in there. I actually surprised myself. I really wanted, since it's been 5 years, I really wanted it to have the same theme, but yet be a little bit different. There was things that needed to be added, things that needed to be taken out, not because they weren't good, but because they weren't as relevant as some other things that we could put in there. So I was excited to be able to do that. Of course, we have a brand new chapter in there, a renamed chapter, a number of updates in so many places, new testimonials, and everybody likes testimonials. And we really wanted to hit that. And we wanted to update some other older testimonials that we had in the 3rd edition so that people can see that that this stuff we're talking about, folks, it really works. And when you see someone 5 and 6 years later that's still going strong, and no, they didn't do it with chemo and radiation. They did it with natural protocols that seem to always work with human beings, at least when we know how to do them and we're dedicated to doing them.
Absolutely. And I love that you have taken the testimonials, as you mentioned in the previous editions, and gone back to those people and said, tell us how you're doing. Has your cancer returned? Are you still in good health? And I know that when you do those same types of testimonials, and let's speak on that real quickly, when you go back to people that have done the more traditional chemo and radiation, what kind of testimonies do you typically get?
Well, it's pretty sad. And that's not to say that some people don't survive that, because we know they do. But a large portion of them tend to be damaged in some way, except those who were doing all of the natural things that along with the chemo and radiation. Those are the ones that do the best by far. Sadly, many of them that just go that route are not around for a follow-up. And I'm dealing with that again today. I deal with that every day when people think they know better. And, you know, you're entitled to your own opinion, your own truth. You're entitled to do whatever you want with your cancer. It's your life. But we just urge people to get all the information they can so they can make wise decisions. It's still your decision. You want to do chemo and radiation, then that's up to you. It's not up to me. But we know what works largely and what doesn't. And the statistics are in the book, and they're reiterated in the new 4th edition as well, because it's imperative that they be in there so people know. And you know, we're dealing with someone now who went in the wrong direction, and in my opinion anyway. And there's a price to pay for that. And still we want to help. We still want to help. We don't want to give up on anyone. We want to believe that there's always hope. Of course, if your immune system's gone, that hope kind of dissipates rapidly. And so all I can say is we're there for you. And I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you what I would do, because I know what works for cancer and all chronic illness and what doesn't.
And your book is so truthful, as you said, and so important to gain this knowledge that you don't hear or read about in mainstream media, for sure. And it is a place, a resource where people can get the facts, and as you said, make their own decision. You know, I've been working with some people that also, some of their loved ones took chemo and radiation 3, 4, 5 years ago. And sadly, the reports have come back that no, they didn't die of cancer, but their heart was so weakened by the medications and all of those things that they did die of you know, a heart attack. And, you know, of course, that skews the statistics, because nope, they didn't die of cancer. But you want to speak on that?
Well, that's why we're told that heart disease is the #1 cause of death, you know, heart attacks and things associated with heart disease. And we're also misinformed that that's caused by high cholesterol and all of that. And of course, that's been proven to be wrong. And yet it's still touted today as the major cause of heart disease. And it's not at all. Don't take the Lipitor, folks. That's what I'm telling you. But because of the way the statistics are utilized, we're told that that's #1, when I firmly believe that cancer is the #1 killer, if you can put in there all of the people that die of the treatments themselves. And whether that ends up being of heart attacks or several other categories that they will then toss it into, it's still a result of the cancer that was in the body.
Right.
And so we can say it any way we like. We just know that it's out of control. It's really out of control, and it's going to get worse.
It is. And of course, our mission at the American Anti-Cancer Institute and the International Wellness and Research Center, that is also a part, is to prevent, to educate, to teach through the book and through you speaking all over the country and all over the world. So, you know, we're on a huge mission, but somebody's got to do it. And I know there are a lot of like-minded folks that are watching tonight. We encourage you to share. You know, having validation from someone like Bob Wright is so huge, and it helps you to be able to educate your family and friends where it's not you educating. So this book is so valuable. And before we go on to talk about tonight's topic, which is why you added essential oils to the 4th edition and why that was so important, I do want to go ahead and offer to let the people that are listening know how they can get the 4th edition, Bob. So let me do that real quick, and also our little fun special that we have if people order right now. And remember, folks, that when you buy the book, Killing Cancer Not People, the 4th edition, you are supporting the American Anti-Cancer Institute. That is the main way that this nonprofit makes any kind of resource to be able to freely help people across the world. I've got there on the screen to pre-order the 4th edition. You would go to the American Anti-Cancer Institute website. It's there on the screen for you, and you will pre-order the book, which is due to be released and mailed out, what, around the first week of April, Bob?
Yes, yes.
So you'll get that book in your hands. Bob himself will handle and touch your book, and here's why. If you order between now and this Wednesday, which is what, the 6th, if you order by March 6th at midnight Eastern Time, Bob himself will sign your book and mail it out personally. Right, Bob?
That's exactly right. And I hope all of you punish me with this. I can sign my name a lot of times and make me weary. I dare you.
Oh, absolutely. So that's our special. That's what we're offering. And Bob, tell us why now you decided to add essential oils to your book.
Well, it's an interesting topic, and it's something that really has become prevalent as people start thinking about more natural ways to deal not only with their cancers, but all sickness today, and actually for prevention, and actually just to smell good if you want to. Boy, I smell great now, I'll tell you. But anyway, you know me, I've always believed in plants. I mean, plants are the optimum thing that God put on this earth to feed us, to get all the nutrients that we need, but also to help us when we need to heal ourselves, whether it's utilizing plants topically or eating them and using them internally. So I always use the analogy that, you know, when I'm sick or when I'm well, even, it's difficult to eat 5 pounds of organic carrots and 5 pounds of organic broccoli and 5 pounds of organic spinach. And I go on. And basically that refers to the fact that, gee, I could really use the nutrients that lie within that food, but I couldn't ever eat that much. And so I know the value of plants, and it goes across the board and across the spectrum. And so when introduced to essential oils, I kind of pushed it aside, you might say, for quite some period of time, many years actually, until I kept getting approached, and I was seeing more and more of it out there, and I thought, what is it really behind this? And then the light went on for me again, and I said, they come from plants, folks. And that's exactly where they come from. And so then that really pushed me, knowing again the value of plants. And we're doing that with our Prima Nubera that we hope to do at some point and get out into the public, and many have heard about that. But and so I thought there was really something behind this. So I began to study it, and I began to meet with people, and I began to find out that it goes beyond putting a little bit here and a little bit here and smelling good, and it might help me with my cough, or, you know, there's many different things. What I discovered is that there are so many of these oils, and they have so much therapeutic value, that it was really amazing to me, and it became essential that I talk more about essential oils, and whether you use them topically on your skin or aromatically and breathe them in, or even many of them you can take and ingest, as long as you do it correctly. And so there's many ways to achieve the values that these things have, and they do so many different things. And so I discovered, first of all, I went and I said, okay, what works for cancer? Because that's what we specialize in, even though we are working today with all chronic illness as we kind of morph into the International Wellness and Research Center from the American Anti-Cancer Institute. Folks will still always have both names, but we want people to know that we're working across the board in all different sectors of wellness and sickness, and we're doing it worldwide now. And so we've become more than the American Anti-Cancer Institute, I guess, is how we're picturing it right now. But I looked at some of the oils that seem to work very well and have a great degree of efficaciousness with cancer. And I, of course, I've got my cheat notes here. And do I know which ones those are now?
Oh no, we have lost Bob Wright, and so you've got to love technology, but when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I'm hoping, you
go. You're back. Okay, I don't know what that was.
There, Bob, because I certainly wasn't going to come up with the right oils for that.
Well, you know, and I'm researching still so many things now. I'm actually on to some other things. We're going to talk about one in just a minute. We don't have much time left, but I'm just constantly on to new things. And just suffice it to say that these oils are really incredible. And they, here they are: peppermint, frankincense, lavender, myrrh, and turmeric. And of course, we talk about turmeric all the time. And there's a special expanded section in the new book about turmeric because it's one of the most anti-cancer foods on the face of the earth. So it makes sense to use the oils as well. Perfect sense. But you have to know how to use the oils. You have to know how to use turmeric, period. And that goes with a lot of the things that we recommend. I'm really enamored with one of the new oils that's out. Are we free to mention the company now here?
Yeah. So what I want to do to preface this next part, and by the way, I know I mentioned that we still have a time limit. I still want to honor people's time, but this is so important that I was able to get a little extension. So don't sweat it.
Good.
But because it was just too tight for us. But so when Bob does his research, what he does is he's doing the research on essential oils. And then I think, Bob, if I can speak for you and if I'm incorrect in any way or you want to elaborate, and then he goes out and looks at the resources. Where can you get these oils? And I think what's really important too is not only where you can get them, but where can you get an educated, knowledgeable person to come alongside you instead of just going out there and buying oils, health food stores or wherever. Where can you be educated on these oils and know that you're taking them properly and you've got the best source of oil? Just like with your water, one of your steps is the right water, and you did your research, and then after doing a lot of research, you chose the Enagic company as your water company of choice. You have a nutrition company that you recommend as well in your book and all of the editions previously. And so now you've got this essential oil that's so important, and you chose, I'll let you tell them what company you have chosen to, I guess, recommend, if you will, or put it into your own words.
Well, let me preface that by just expanding on what you just said. And it's so incredibly important that we don't just say, go get the oils, go get some kind of good ionized water, go find some good nutrition, eat plants. We have to expand on that. We need to be responsible about it. And that's why I say, don't just go drink any ionized water. Don't just go eat turmeric, because turmeric will fight your body if you allow it to. It's fat soluble. You need to make sure you take it with good fats. And when you take it with piperine, it's 1,000 times more bioavailable to the body. So there are things that we have to do that go beyond just the rote, do this, do that. And so that's important with everything. It's very important with essential oils, I believe, too. Now, while I'm not going to sit here and say there's no other good companies out there that market essential oil, because I'm sure there are, and I'm sure there's some pretty good ones out there. But for my standards, and the way that I wanted to look at this was a combination of things. Who's been doing it the longest and who's been successful? How are they doing it? What are they utilizing? Where do they get their plants, their oils? What is their process like? So we go through all of that. And for my money and for my research, doTERRA popped to the top. Wow. And I actually utilize their oils now. As you can see, I've got my own little packet right here of essential oils. These are just sample type things, but I utilize them. I've got the Modern Essentials books. I've got a couple of these, and this is part of my research. I really like this, that nature was man's first remedy. Everything we need can be found there. And that's what I base a lot of what I'm doing upon. And of course, I met with doTERRA, and we like to think that we do the proper research. That doesn't mean that somewhere along the line Bob can't blow it sometime, because that's entirely possible. I don't think I've blown it big time yet, but who knows? I always challenge people. If you find me doing something wrong, saying something wrong, tell me. I'm a big boy now at my age. I can take it, and I will.
But they better have their facts right.
I will change it, because I want to tell you nothing but the truth. And so for me, for my money, and for my health, and for my family's health, and for the great opportunity that God has given me to espouse what I have learned and what I want to talk about, I need to tell you what I believe in and what I've researched. And for me, it was and is doTERRA, and I use them today, and I'll continue to utilize them. And I became enamored because I kind of went beyond the pale, you might say. And I don't know how long that doTERRA has been using copaiba, and some of you know of it, and you pronounce it different ways: copaiba, copaiba. You know, there's many different ways, but if we do it correctly from South American Spanish, it would be copaiba. And interestingly enough, I got very, very, very fascinated with that particular essential oil, you might say, because it's a cannabinoid, and it comes from a tree in South America, and it's a cannabinoid called beta caryophyllene, and it's attracted to the CB2 receptors, as is hemp in the body. By the way, you'll see the whole new chapter on marijuana and hemp in the new book, 4th edition as well. But I'm really enamored and have studied cannabinoids as well. And so this has now been changed to a supplement, and not changed, but utilized as a supplement, copaiba oil, and as an essential oil as well. I use both. I have both. And it's wonderful. I mean, it's and it can be very powerful. 60% cannabinoid, beta caryophyllene. And so it's antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, anti-tumoral, means anti-tumor. And these are good things for us. They're neuroprotectors as well. That's important, especially when we're looking at so much neurodegenerative diseases now, like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and Lou Gehrig's, all of these things, and others. They probably attached a dozen different names to offshoots of new neurodegenerative diseases.
Absolutely. And, you know, we do want to move on to another topic here shortly, but I think for the viewers that aren't familiar with essential oils, what we would encourage you to do is actually what I think I'll do is I'll give out the products AACI at gmail.com email address, because you'll want to connect with a doTERRA representative to educate you on what essential oils and how to use them. And that's one of the reasons I'm so grateful that you've done your research. And I know many, many doTERRA oil representatives who are so knowledgeable. And if they're not, they have someone on their team, or, you know, as part of their organization that can absolutely help you. And they will do whatever it takes to educate you, answer as many questions as you want or as few as you want. And that's hugely important, having that person come alongside you to educate you, teach you, and, you know, just help you with what your goals are with your health. Is that fair to say?
That's very fair to say. And I know one very, very smart gal that I met with. I'm not going to mention her name right now, but she educated me quite a bit. And I'm not afraid to say that, because I always want to learn more and more. And I had a need to know more and more. And And I tested her. What about this? What about if I'm in this physical manner at this moment, or if I have a headache, or
Right.
we went through a lot of things, and boom, boom, boom. She knew exactly what to refer me to, because she really knew her stuff, and that's important no matter what you're doing. You want to know your products. You want to know what you're marketing or selling, and of course we don't market these or sell these at this point, but we want to point you to the people who do, that can make a difference, and like you said, Tracy, have the knowledge and understanding and wisdom about these products so they can set you in the right direction.
Absolutely. So let's talk about something else that's pretty exciting, Bob. Just recently, I got some information from you that you have been, as you do, researching lots of products over the last your lifetime. But recently, you've come across a company that you're extremely excited about, that you told me earlier today could absolutely be the future of nutrition. And I know you wanted to mention that on tonight's broadcast briefly, and maybe let the viewers know a little more about what you're excited about.
Well, as you know, we try and stay on the cutting edge of what's good for us nutritively, and in every fashion, whether it's a treatment, a supplement, specific protocol, or a therapy, or anything like that. We want to be on the cutting edge of that, and always looking forward for those things. And so I've been studying something for, I don't know if it's maybe about a year now, but more into it over about the last 6 months, and dealing with a company that is producing something that is what no one else is really doing right now that I know of. A lot of people might be thinking about it, and companies might be thinking about it, but we have this 23andMe thing going around now, where people are trying to check their DNA and their genetics to figure out where they came from. Well, that's all well and good. I'm not sure that all of these companies are super accurate, but it's not for me to say. But I know that we can test. We can do some tests on our DNA, and I'm not going to go deep into this because we need to have a full show on this. But what if you could find out more about what I call your epigenetics? Many want to call it your genetics. They want to look at your DNA, and certainly that's a part of it, but they're driven by your epigenetics. Our genetics are kind of carved in stone. Our epigenetics is the physiology, the system that makes all of this work, and all of the physiological functions within our body. So I talk about epigenetics. And what if you could get a product that was centered on your epigenetics, was centered on basically what kind of nutrition that your DNA is basically telling you that you need, where you are deficient, where you are more than efficient, what needs to be upregulated or downregulated in your body, and how do you do that? What if I could tell you, well, based on your profile, this is the exact combination of nutrients that you need. In other words, we're saying individually, this is for you. This is for Tracy Randall, nobody else, based upon your epigenetics as related to your genetics. And that would be a pretty amazing thing, I think. Yeah. And that's something we're going to do a whole show on soon. And we've, again, been looking at it for quite some time, and we really like it so far.
So now, earlier when we spoke, and I'm okay with whatever your answer is here, you had said that you were going to mention the name of this company. Have you decided that you want to wait until later, or did you want to?
You mean, do I want to tell people if the company is UFORIA or not? Oh. That's the name of the company, UFORIA. So feel free to investigate it on your own. I mean, I would, and I did. I have enough interest in this because I have a supreme interest in epigenetics, because I know it's the answer. Genetics aren't the answer. Epigenetics are the answer. And that's the software of your body. That's what runs your body. And that's the solution. That's what keeps you well. If the systems are running, and what you need to dwell on and concentrate on upregulating these things when you're not well. And so That's what everything we do is geared towards.
And, also, I know that disease is not genetic. I know you clearly state that, but there are, knowing what your DNA requires, I would believe would be such a great preventative thing as well for healthy people to stay healthy. And you may have already said that, but I did want to make it clear.
Well, you're absolutely right. But here's the thing. You can do most of the right things, and you can get a nutrition that is specifically made for you. But if you're going to over here on the side continue to have that phone to your ear 24 hours a day, if you continue eating those cupcakes and pounds of sugar every month, if you're going to do the wrong things, it's going to hurt your ability to be well and to stay well. So there are things that we have to do. What I'm saying in a nutshell here is that this one thing, whatever it is not the cure for cancer or anything else, and don't let anyone tell you that it is.
Right.
This is a system. This is a way of living, a way of nutrifying your body, a way of eliminating toxins, because cancer is really a deficiency disease, and it's a toxicity disease when we get down to it. And most other things are as well. So we need to deal with all of these things. But if we can find a nutrition, we've already found one that we love very well, as you know. And now we have another one coming in that is directed to you individually. And it's going to be very interesting.
Absolutely. And, getting back to where can people find this information in what I believe is the simplest place, the simplest form in our busy lives, for us to have to do what you've been doing, the research that it's taken for your book to put it together from the first edition all the way up to the 4th edition. It would take hours and hours and hours, and we just don't have the time. But what we do have the time to do, Bob, is read your book. We do have the time to take what you've done and how you've simplified it for anyone and everyone to be able to understand it. And I love that about your book. I cannot encourage the listeners enough to go ahead and be the first to order that 4th edition. I've got the website up on the screen, and don't wait. Go ahead and order it now. You want Bob's signature, but even beyond that, you want this valuable information in your hands. And listen, if you are a doTERRA oil person, or any of the other product lines that Bob endorses in his book, use his book to help open doors to educate people. I know I did it for many years before Bob and I actually met. The product that I was passionate about, Bob had endorsed in his book, and I used that to open doors, because see, Bob and I, we can't reach millions of people, but you can. One person reaching one person reaching two, and it's this book in your hands that will absolutely be the catalyst that can open someone's eyes and a whole family. And when you open the mom's eyes, then she takes it on to everyone else in the family, and that's hugely important. So please, I'm begging you. Not because the AACI needs funding, but because you need this book. It's that important.
And that's exactly right. This is not a shameless book promotion. This is a fact that people need to get this into their hands. This book was written to be easily readable and to be a tool to help you. And it's not, don't mistake it that it's just a anti-cancer book, because it's an anti-sickness, pro-wellness book. And you'll see one of the testimonies by a doctor in the front of the new book. He wrote the first foreword in the book about why this is so important, and I think you'll enjoy that. But no one that I didn't put doTERRA in the book. Any of these companies did not go in the book because I wanted their support. I want to support them. because we go out and find we deem what is the best for people, be it for cancer or anything else. That's what goes in the book. And we're delighted that people enjoyed that. But doTERRA doesn't pay me anything. Any of these companies do not pay me anything to endorse their products, nor would we take anything for an endorsement. And we have never sold products basically over 10 years of existence. That may change because we all have to stay in business. And I think most of you would agree with us that we've proven ourselves over the last 10 years that we're interested in you. And we want to see you get well. That's the reward we get. And let me tell you, there's no reward like that to see people get well.
Absolutely. I've watched you in action. I know many people that are going to be sharing this video and tagging people in this video. You've impacted their life directly, and that we all know what an incredible, loving, and patient spirit you have for people and for families, and you have made such an impact, and we love you so much, Bob. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for sharing this information. And are we going to come back next Monday, same time?
Well, if I have anything to say about it, as long as I'm in town and can do it, we'll do it every Monday.
All right. Well, for those of you that are watching and supporting the AACI, be sure and watch for our upcoming announcement. But we'll plan on being here next Monday as well, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll also be sharing what the subject line will be about. But for now, we'll be talking about Bob's new book, because as we continue to promote it and share it, more people will know about it. So thank you again, Bob. We love you. Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.